It is a muggy late May evening here in downtown Indianapolis. We welcome you to the match of the round coverage on ussoccer.com. It is the Indy 11. It is the Dayton Dutch Lions. We appreciate you being with us here on ussoccer.com alongside Brad Hodder, Greg Rakestraw with you. And again, this is a brand new experience with this new NASL side, the Indy 11 playing in their soccer tonight.
Yeah, I think you can expect the unexpected. One of the great things about the Open Cup, it's soccer's version of March Madness. Instead of 68 teams, you have 80. Instead of 32 underdogs, you have 50. So what you can expect right now is the classic David and Goliath.
Let's talk about the key players in tonight's match. Let's talk about the guy that this Dayton Dutch Lions squad is going to want to play through. Eli Garner tries to control the ball in the midfield. What should fans expect from him tonight?
Well, even though he's in the midfield, Eli is second on the team in shots and third on the team in fouls. So where Eli action.
Years of age, scored his first goal for the 11 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and just last month came off of a 3-goal performance at the U20 tournament down in Dallas. And I'll go on record right now saying Ben Spencer is the future of American soccer.
At 18 years of age, he played club soccer in Norway a year ago. Stay tuned. Starting lineups and first kick come your way in a matter of moments. It's our match of the round coverage of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup here on ussoccer.com.
We welcome you back to the mic, as they call it, Carroll Stadium, here on the campus of IUPUI in downtown Indianapolis. First time a U.S. Open Cup match has been contested here since the 1997 Cup Final. Saw nearly 10,000 fans in attendance, and that the second year of Major League Soccer at the time. These two starting 11 for tonight's match, and we talked about Eli Garner, but Aaron Schoenfeld, on loan from the Columbus Crew, leads this team. He has 5 of their 9 goals this year.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him play. Just watching him warm up, the kid has a knack to finish.
Now for the Indy 11, their starting lineup for tonight's contest.
One thing that's notable about the Indy 11 group, will be offering a first kick or two. Kleberson was the big-name signee for this Indy 11 squad at the beginning of the year. He has played for Brazil's World Cup team back in 2002, played for Manchester United. He's been dealing with a hamstring injury, has missed their last 2 matches, available as a substitution this evening.
Yeah, and it would be great if this match allows for him to come in and get a few.
This evening is Brad Ring. The reason he is not playing tonight was a pair of yellow cards he got in this event last year, playing for the San Jose Earthquakes from MLS, and a 1-0 loss to the Charleston Battery. He had the goal in Indy 11's draw at the New York Cosmos last weekend. Good look at Carroll Stadium. They have drawn over 10,000 per game so far here at the mic over the course.
Field.
I don't blame him. Good place to be.
He sees the blue jerseys. He's ready to go.
Good look at the goalkeepers for tonight. That is Aaron Stuver. He is not normally the starting keeper for this Dayton Dutch Lions squad. That is normally Matt Williams, but Stuver is on loan from the Columbus Crew, so he's getting the opportunity to start in net tonight. His opposite number is Christian Neat, who also wears the captain's armband for the Indy 11. The Dayton Dutch Lions in the primarily blue kits, while the Indy 11 in their. One thing to point out to our viewers tonight is that because of the location of this facility is inside the track complex here at IUPUI that was built for the Pan American Games back in 1987 and used even before that in the Olympic Sports Festival of '82. This is an east-west pitch. And so Stuver will have to be looking into the setting sun from his goal position for the Dayton Dutch Lions tonight. Referees on each of the sidelines this evening. Throw in earned by the 11 as we are here in the match's opening moments.
Hey, look at Dayton being a feeder team in affiliation with Columbus, and this has got to be an important match for them in the fact that the winner goes on to play Columbus, so it'll be a chance for them to show themselves to their parent club.
And this is the round where the teams from the North American Soccer League entered, of which Indy 11 is in their debut season. So 8 of the teams in the end of the year. All of the USL Pro teams, such as Dayton, entered last round in round number 2. And to get to this point, the Dayton Dutch Lions defeated Schwaben AC out of Chicago 2-0. And they bounced the way of the Dayton Dutch Lions, but a little bit of a mistake on the pass. Looking for some contact. The referee says no. We played through contact in a couple of different directions, and eventually this will be a corner for the Dayton Dutch Lions. The Indy 11 have struggled in giving up early goals.
Of the team's goals, walking in on the keeper, and even though he was at a bad angle, he deferred to somebody else. You'd love to see your leading scorer have that hit.
Not much on that right-footed swing by Sebastian Thurier. And now Dylan Mayers gives chase for Indy 11. But shielding him away just enough defensively was Shane Smith for the Dayton Dutch Lions, and not much of a challenge for Stuver in net. Dutch style of play. Expect a 4-3-3 throughout the course of this match from the squad from Dayton.
And possession-based, and they're living up to that. And sometimes you think when a team comes in and they play a team in the league above that they're going to maybe go into a defensive shell and just try and hold this game into the 70th, 80th minute and then try and win it either on a counter or through a mistake or a restart. And
good scoring opportunity here in the early moments for the Dayton Dutch Lions, and this one played to safety by the Indy 11. Irakli Kutsidze couldn't exactly get the left foot swinger the way he wanted it to go. You see the Brickyard Battalion. They take up the west stands here at Carroll Stadium. Flag goes up over the end line. Goal kick coming for Christian Niecht. We're hoping it is a rain-free evening. Keeping our fingers crossed on that front. Schoenfeld applying pressure for the Dutch Lions. Long ball played to Spencer. And he's got numbers to his left. And ball cleared to safety.
That's one thing that Dayton's got to be careful of. If they're going to play their back line, serve or drop that back line a little bit and keep the ball in front of them.
This is Kyle Hyland. Good chance he might know several of these players in this Dutch Lions squad because Kyle was part of the Columbus Crew organization a year ago. And there are numerous players on loan from Columbus to the Dayton Dutch Lions for the course of this season. Namely, their attacker in Schoenfeld, who has 5 goals. Blake Smith will track it down. He is a relatively new member of the Indy 11. He, too, is on loan from an MLS side, that being the Montreal Impact. He is 1 year removed from being a top 10 draft pick in the MLS draft. Smith chips this one in. Flicked away.
Hot, muggy day like this, you want to keep the ball. You want to make the other team defend, spend their energy defending.
Interesting to see if the energy level is the same in half number 2 as it is early in half number 1, because frankly, these two teams haven't had the chance to train in.
You know, as a coach, you're trying to manage both your league play as well as to try and win this cup.
Well, knowing you have the opportunity to play the MLS team down the street, I think is a great incentive for each of these two sides. Again, the Dayton Dutch Lions made the quarterfinals of this event some 2 years ago, beating that Columbus Crew squad we have been talking about to a large degree so far. 11. Smith trying to make the turn. This is the leading goal scorer for the 11 and Mike Ambersley. Flag stays down for Smith. Again looking for Spencer. All headed away nicely by the Dutch Lions. Shintaro Harada. He is the veteran presence on the field for the Dutch Lions. Ring number
that they had numbers and space.
Garner with the flick forward. Ball finds his feet. Physical challenge. Ball played through. More ahead to Spencer. As Don Smart making the long run. Ball just behind Smart. He'll take the shot, but never really was on frame. You hear the groan from the crowd.
That may have been a ball that he could have dropped back into Ambersley at some point because Ambersley had gotten goal side of his defender.
Smart, one of the many international players on the pitch this evening, originally from Jamaica. Clemens giving chase now here for the Dutch Lions. Okiyoma on defense for Indy 11. Moore deflects that one away. And now Harada. That goes about 15 rows up. The chant of Das Boot going up from the West End stands for the German native. He has quickly become friends with Bjorn Werner, who plays for the Indianapolis Colts. Bjorn, a German native as well, and happened to run into Bjorn before tonight's game. So this is game 3 or 4 of the season so far for Bjorn.
Yeah, I remember we had Andrew Luck. I anticipated the way that Dayton's playing to be the way that Indy's playing, and the way that Indy's playing to be the way that Dayton's playing.
Ball to flex off of Ambersley for a Dayton throw-in. Shane Smith will take it. Now Dylan Mayers with the ball at his feet for the 11. Who is wearing number 12 for the 11. High school teammates, college teammates, and now professional teammates.
That just doesn't happen. It's not common. You got guys from the same high school that may go to the same college, may also wind up in the NFL or the NBA, but rarely do you find them on that same kind of path and trajectory.
Throw-in coming here for Indy 11. Here in minute number 10 of this match. Last time an Open Cup match was played here, a championship match in 1997, with the Dallas Burn beating DC United on penalty kicks. Of course, it has been many years since the Dallas Burn have changed their name to FC Dallas, to date that just a bit.
It's a good shield.
Spencer trying to make the turn. Smith didn't really have an angle to attack. That's good defensive work inside the 18 by Dayton.
Yeah, and Smith, he wants it on his left. It came down on his left, but he had two guys in his way, so he tried to cut it back to his right. There just wasn't the time or the space to do that. I watched the national team play last night, and you saw, Azerbaijan kind of packed it in and looked for counter opportunities, and the U.S. struggling to find seams and to get opportunities until late in the game. And I expected to see a little bit of that same thing out here, but I've been very impressed with the possession of Dayton. I think, as far as the way this game shapes up, the longer it goes, the more pressure will start to mount on Indy.
It's a Dayton team that in 9 matches so far, 2 wins, 2 draws, and 5 losses. Their last win, other than their victory in the Open Cup against Schwaben AC, and a foul is called as Spencer taken down to the ground. The defender saying, hey, he had a hold of my jersey too. Quick restart. Doesn't benefit the 11. To finish the thought, the last victory for the Dayton Dutch Lions, other than the U.S. Open Cup match, was back on April the 19th against the Harrisburg City Islanders. And the giveaway here from the 11.
That was a little sloppy play on both sides. I think Schoenfeld had the opportunity, as big as he is the fact that he got to the ball first. I think he had the opportunity to find a supporting player and maybe keep possession of that ball.
Spencer, the chip. Defender got there in time. Joel DeLas, the captain, made it look easy.
Ben Spencer's a finisher. He finds himself in the right spot. That ball got away from him. Still got a toe to it.
Highland will take the throw in. And again, Spencer the target.
Whoop.
Ball bounces right to Ambersley. Now Smart the one-time strike. Asking for a handball. Referee says no.
Not going to get that.
And then Corby Moore whistled for the foul for the 11. Not the way that the throw-in was designed by Indy 11, but it nearly worked out.
Yeah, I think it just both to Smart and to Ambersley, you just got a couple of bad hops.
At the other end, potential opportunity turned aside, as you see the replay there. While we were away, quick restart to action and a long ball, but a couple of Indy 11 defenders able to shield away the attacking player. And ball rolls across the end line for a goal kick. So both sides being aggressive here early on. So now Matt Walker played his collegiate soccer at Xavier University. Nifty bit of skill there.
Well, I'm not sure that was planned. That got through, but I think if you ask him to recreate that a couple times, I think it's going to take him maybe 15 to get close to it.
It's an Indy 11 team that snapped a 4-match winless streak, or really a 4-match losing streak, I should say, with a draw at the New York Cosmos on Saturday night. The New York Cosmos in action tonight in the Open Cup. They play host to the Brooklyn Italians. And the winner of that gets the New York Red Bulls. And 16 matches taking place. And every team that's playing tonight knows the MLS side they will play in the next round in mid-June. And these are done as regionally as possible to save down on travel costs and, of course, create some exciting matchups. So each of these two teams know that if they win, they will play the Columbus Crew. And that game will be played at the University of Akron. For those who don't follow college soccer, the Zips have quite the run going at the NCAA level.
Yeah, and that's a pretty impressive complex, the Cub Cadet complex out at Akron. It's beautiful.
Good flick that time. Schoenfeld still chasing it down. Now Smith has the ball for the 11.
You talk about the number of games that are going on right now, and it feels like that Thursday, Friday opening weekend of March Madness, there's going to be some upsets, and you just wonder who those are going to be.
We'll go over some of those matchups coming up during halftime. Flag goes up. Free kick here for the Dayton Dutch Lions. 1/3 of the way through the opening half, Brad. Your quick impressions.
Well, the way that Dayton's possessing is impressive. The concern, if I'm Dayton, is that back line is very, very high, and Indy's played a couple balls over the top that they've had players run onto, and
then here's a flat giveaway.
That's a
Spencer, goal. Left foot, great save by Stuver.
Wow.
Indy 11 has given up some goals like that this year. Dayton nearly gave him one right back. Outstanding play by the member of the Columbus Crew and Stuver.
Yeah, it's a big save, and that gets his energy, that gets him into the game, that gets some confidence to the back line, even though they turn that ball over. But they can't afford to keep doing that.
Corby Moore will take the corner here for the 11, their first corner of the night. 6 in the box here for the 11. Stuver made that one look easy.
Yeah, I tell you, you give the ball away in that critical spot to a forward of Ben Spencer's ability, and you're going to be living on the edge with that. You got away with one right there. If you've got 9 lives, you're down to 8 right now.
And only the starting keeper for this Dayton Dutch Lions squad is Matt Williams. He's been in net for 8 of the 9 matches so far this year.
Yeah, I saw him play last year. He's a big guy, but he's quick. I was surprised at how quick he was.
He is the reserve goalie in case needed tonight for Sid Van Druenen's squad. You saw a quick shot of him earlier in our telecast. Had a chance to catch up with him and the entire coaching staff. A pleasure talking with them before tonight's match.
Loved it. You know, you come in, ask them what system they're playing, ask them what they're going to do, and just sarcastically they say, hey, it's they're not just the Dutch Lions in name. It's philosophy. It's ingrained in the way that they play. And it's evident in what they've put on the field tonight.
Ambersley for Smart. Sends it across. Does not get through. Ambersley gets a touch. Can't control it. Shoulder loss is there to shield it to safety momentarily for the Dutch Lions. And a throw-in coming here for Dayton. This Dutch Lions program, this is one of 3 training academies that Dutch Lions soccer has in the States. Houston, Cincinnati, and Dayton. This is the highest level team on the men's side that they have. They have a couple of teams in the PDL in both Houston and Cincinnati. Also have a W League program in Dayton as well.
And you have to love it philosophically, because what they've designed all of these things to do is develop players for the next level. not enough academies and organizations like this that are that in between that can help that player that needs a little bit of time, needs a little bit of work to come in, polish his game, and then move up.
The reason for the delay, we had a little conversation between A.J. Corrado of the 11 and our match referee, and I'm thinking we may have had a card that was issued as well. So it looks like our first card of the match will go against A.J. Corrado, and kind of a change for him. We have seen him play the midfield for this 11 role this year. However, he's playing as a defensive player tonight.
Yeah, and you wonder if that's by design. I mean, he's been electric when he's played out on the outside in the midfield and gotten forward very well. So it may be something that Jurgen Sumner has said, hey, let's see if we can attack a little bit more out of the back.
Thurier trying to make the turn and earns the corner kick in the process. He's a young man that played his collegiate soccer at the University of South Florida in Tampa. Second corner we have seen here for the Dayton Dutch Lions.
That's the Bulls, right, out there?
That is correct.
They have a great snow cone machine in their football locker room.
This one gets all the way through. Bicycle attempt without much on it. There's Thurier that was able to take it, and now Neekt will have the goal kick here for Indy 11. And we thank you for joining us on USsoccer.com. It is our match of the round coverage. Alongside Brad Hodder, Greg Rakestraw with you. The NASL side in their debut season. The Indy 11 looking for their first ever win. No wins, 3 draws, and 4 losses to this point of the season for the 11. Okioma with the somewhat unclean pass back to Christian Neekt. He and Norales, a little communication issue.
Interesting game. You know, I think Dayton's held the better of the possession, but Indy's been more dangerous.
Smart sends it in, and this one will trickle across the end line. It'll be a corner for the 11. These two teams are kind of playing like the first goal is going to win it. They're both being aggressive.
Yeah. Or maybe first 1 to 5.
Again, Moore will take the corner. He took the same on the other side a few moments ago. Spencer trying to connect to it. Ball a little short. Moore will race and track it down. This one in and poked away by Stuver. You have, as you know, being a former professional goalie, you have that sense when there's somebody behind you that's not your teammate. Without even looking at Spencer, he parries it away.
Well, when you are a goalkeeper and you've got a 6'5" forward hovering around your box, you always know where he is. I mean, that's when you check your side mirrors before you get into a lane. You always have an eye on Ben Spencer.
So Moore getting quite the workout on these corners. This is 3 in about the last 5 minutes. And this one barely challenges the youngster in goal.
Yeah, he was there. If it didn't tip over the bar, would either hit Ben Spencer in the chest or just been forced in with his body.
This Dayton squad does not waste time. They play the ball quickly. They play it long, and it was Garner at the other end, joined by Kutsidze, that really couldn't get the look on goal they wanted, but again had the quick restart and momentarily a numbers advantage.
Yeah. It was ambitious, but, you know, Eli didn't back down in the 1-on-2. He was looking to attack the goal.
Corrado will flick this one across the sideline for a throw in here. Here from the public address announcer, that confirming what we had maybe didn't see, but had suspected, that Corrado is the first player booked in tonight's match. So Corrado earns the first yellow of the match from our referee, Dimitar Shavdarov. Speaking of the referee, he just had an unintentional touch on the ball right there.
It was a good touch. Played it right back. It's very unselfish of him.
Lead for Walker. Deflected away by Eric Norales. Good hustle by Walker to chase down Smith, and that would be what you'd call the professional foul, and here comes the card for Walker. Each team now with a player into the books tonight.
Yeah, that's got to be a little bit of frustration maybe from that shot. You know, I think had he pulled the trigger a little bit quicker, it would have been a better opportunity for him. He may have known it because there's no reason to foul him here. There was still defensive cover in behind. If you're going to do a 40-yard sprint to come back and defend the guy, why not do 50 or 60 on your goal side?
Corby Moore has been the set-piece specialist tonight for the 11. We'll send this one in. And Spencer the target every time. This is Mayers.
Yeah, something good's going to happen here.
Leaves it for Smith. Ball deflected away. Good tackle by Moore.
Tackle.
Now Smart looking for Mayers. Ambersley assessing his options. Smart never afraid to give it a rip.
Oh, you know what, though? Ambersley could have done that. He knocked it out to Smart to keep possession, look for a more dangerous opportunity, not just to knock the ball into a defender.
Ambersley dispossessed. It goes right to Smith.
Boom.
The chip in the back of the net, and Indy 11 takes an early one-goal lead in the 26th minute.
Got to believe there's some Dayton fans behind the goal because the players immediately turned to the fans behind the goal, put their finger up to tell them to be quiet.
Blake Smith's first goal with the Indy 11. It is just his third match with the team, and he is on loan from Montreal Impact. He signed on May the 13th, some 15 days ago. A one-goal advantage for the 11. And Brad, how does this now change the complexion of tonight's match?
Well, I think it gives a lot of confidence to Indy right now that what they're doing is successful. You know, for Dayton, it was just a matter of Sebastian not stepping 5 more yards and closing that space down and allowing that shot to get off. So, you know, if you're Dayton, you're not going to be looking at this and saying, hey, we got beat on something we couldn't handle. We just, one player just didn't step when he should have.
Now, the good news we'll share with you if you're a Dayton Dutch Lions fan is that the Indy 11 are the only team in the NASL this year that has both scored a goal in every match and has given up a goal in every match. The next clean sheet for the 11 would be the first. And as we have seen here in the early going, there have been opportunities aplenty. Walker with the optimistic look there.
And I think the other part with Dayton's not going to panic in the fact that they're better on the road than they are at home.
Last time the Indy 11 played at home, they scored 2 and were beaten by 2. Smart, the aggressive run that time, but couldn't keep control. It'll be Dayton's possession. And then they waste little time. They immediately get that ball back out.
Which is good. I think especially after giving up a goal, to continue with that style, keeps body language, keeps guys engaged versus heads going down, and what do we do now?
Eight players back defending here for the Dutch Lions. Spencer, flag stays down. Looking for a teammate, but nobody was there alongside.
And then an unselfish play. I thought he had a chance to maybe lift that ball back to the back post.
I think he was listening to the feed because that time he wasn't passing it. He looked at that back post, and Stuver was there. Good look at Stuver. He played his collegiate soccer at Cleveland State University and was drafted by the Montreal Impact a year ago and was part of the MLS goalkeeper pool a season ago, which meant that as a reserve, he made appearances on a handful of different rosters last year.
Yeah, and Cleveland State's got something going with goalkeepers. You know, they've had a couple drafted. Blake New was drafted. He's now a coach at Oberlin. So they've produced professional goalkeepers. Great touch.
Schoenfeld will track it down. And he's got 5 of the 9 goals for Dayton this year. Headed away, but not out of danger. Trying to line up the one-time strike. Mayers gets in the way of the blast from David Clemens. And a throw-in coming here for the Dutch Lions.
Yeah, Schoenfeld's a dangerous player. It's a matter of time before he's going to get something going.
Garner didn't get the touch he wanted on it there. Cloud cover has picked up just a bit. Breeze has changed a little bit. For now, that's a good thing. Just hope the raindrops stay away.
Great
Spencer
timing.
is down. Flag is down. Plays it ahead to
What
Smith.
a touch.
Smith. Crossover.
Boom.
Making a 2-goal night for Blake Smith. And a 2-goal lead for the Indy 11.
You want to talk about spatial awareness. Ben Spencer understanding that run was there, and even though he had an opportunity to take it to goal, unselfishly putting it in the space for Blake.
Immediately, the assistant referee on the far side pointed to the ground. The flag stayed down. Spencer was all alone, didn't have the best first touch. Played it off to Smith and let his talented teammate do the rest.
Pretty clever ball from a lefty.
Take another look at that replay. A 2-0 advantage in favor of the Indy 11. Kutsitse. Well defended by Morales. Couldn't control that last touch. A throw-in coming for the Dutch Lions. So, Brad, the same question I asked you after the first goal. How does the look of this match now change, and it's a 2-goal advantage?
I don't think it changes from what we saw in that first 15 minutes when both teams were attacking and going back and forth. Right now, neither team has anything to lose by throwing things forward. Now, I reserve the right to change that when the next goal goes in.
Spencer can't keep possession. And then a foul given by David Clemens. Clemens played his collegiate soccer at Virginia Tech. And Dayton trying to match their dramatic run of 2 seasons ago. They made it all the way to the quarterfinals, beating Columbus Crew in the process. Their run was ended by Sporting Kansas City 2 seasons ago. That was in a campaign where they had just 4 wins in total, not counting cup matches.
Got to get hot at the right time.
Moore sends it in. That is the beauty of these in-season
touch.
competitions. Ambersley couldn't control it.
Yeah, AJ has shown himself to be dangerous out there.
Now Smart chips this one in, and that'll be a corner. One has suddenly changed in the last 10 minutes because now possession is starting to be tilted in favor of the 11 as well.
This is such a confidence game. You know, the fact that Indy scored 2 and gotten through and had multiple really dangerous opportunities has lifted them, and they're playing balls with better pace. The runs are a little bit crisper. And on the flip side of that, Dayton's starting to question things a little bit. How much do we open up? How much do we press forward? 2-0 is a dangerous lead. It gets to be 2-1, and that momentum swings pretty quick.
Mayer's the right-footed strike that never seriously threatened the keeper. We referenced kind of the season-saving aspect to what Dayton did a couple of years ago, making that quarterfinal run. It is very reminiscent of DC United's run to an Open Cup championship last year for a franchise that has such a great history, and now the nearly 20-year history of MLS. Last year was an awful year for DC United, with the exception of winning that Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup championship.
And, a championship is a championship. You look at, like, the NASL. It's a 10-team league. The 10 teams are battling to be first in that league. Here are 80 teams. 80 teams battling to be first in the Open Cup.
A mixture of teams from the United States Adult Soccer Association. Flag stays down here. And NASL teams, USL Pro teams. Variety of teams playing in this round. 32 teams in all playing here in the third round. The 16 MLS sides added in round number 4. And starting with those matches in mid-June, it is now 32 teams, even bracket, 5 rounds will determine a champion.
Yeah, you know, something that drives me crazy in that situation, A.J. Corrado fell down. Eli, instead of sprinting out to that ball and using that as an advantage, just kind of jogged out there and allowed the defense to reset. You've got an opportunity right there. You've got to take advantage of it.
And Neekt will simply step in front of Schoenfeld and take it away. Then he will launch the quick attack of his own. Walker gives chase for the Dutch Lions. Good-looking ball to Spencer if he can keep it in play, and he uses all of his 6'5" frame to do exactly that.
Yeah, I liked what was developing around him with Dylan Mayers overlapping. I thought that could have been something pretty dangerous.
Flag goes up for Don Smart. And a player down on the turf for the Dutch Lions. And a Shane Smith that is a little slow to get up.
Good step.
Norales steps in front.
Great transition.
Now the defender has a chance to go on the attack. He already has 2 goals this year for the 11. Looking for Ambersley. Keeper able to drift back in front. Mayers. The right idea, not the execution of the shot that he wanted to.
Yeah, absolutely loved the way that Indy broke out on that one.
How important is it here for Dayton to get one before halftime?
Yeah, as a coach, if you could get one before halftime, that is such an uplifting thing for the locker room. Instead of trying to convince your guys at halftime that they're in the game, they know it. They believe it.
Here's an opportunity here. Garner. Marked by Corrado. Shot by Garner. Schoenfeld back post. And
wow.
That frankly should have been his 6th goal of the season.
Yeah.
Just rushed that touch just a bit.
Going to be a nightmare. That thing is going to replay in his head a couple times tonight, and you talk about what that 1 goal means right there. That lifts him up, and they've got a chance to equalize before the half.
It's a phenomenal play by Garner. And my guess is that Schoenfeld and Highland, who was marked in there, have trained together, both part of the crew organization last year.
And I'll tell you this, though. He misses that shot. His body language was not head down and, oh, how could I do that to my team? His body language was, whoops, that one's on me. Give me another shot.
You make the analogy to basketball. The shooter is always open, and the next shot is always going in.
Yeah, I played with Karl-Heinz Granitza, one of the greatest scorers ever. And I remember one time at halftime, the stat sheet came in. He had 2 goals. This was indoor, so he'd score a bunch in a game. The stat sheet came in, and he had scored 2 goals but taken 10 shots. And he's like, there's no way. These stats have to be wrong. I have only taken 2 shots because I've only got 2 goals. The only thing he could remember was the goals that he scored.
Short-term memory can be a good thing in that position. Walker gives chase. And unable to keep the ball in play. There was some contact there, but it was after the ball had crossed the touchline. Throw in here. And Highland will hold up until Walker was able to hop up off the pitch. Some other matchups tonight. Laredo Heat at Fort Lauderdale. The Fresno Fuego against Sacramento. They've had phenomenal crowds out there in Northern California this season. North Texas taking on San Antonio. Reading United against the Rochester Rhinos. Minnesota United, the NASL team, playing on the road at Des Moines. Just a handful of the other matchups in this round of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup.
Des Moines is an interesting place to play, too. The Menace have always had really good crowds and great, strong support. That might be a 20-year-old franchise there.
Smart with the takeaway. And Garner will get the whistle.
Yep, second on the team in shots, third on fouls. He may be in second place in both. I like the way he plays, though. He's aggressive. He's quick.
Garner played his collegiate soccer at University of North Carolina at Greensboro.
It's a soccer hotspot, too.
Mayers, flag goes up.
Would have been interesting to see how that played out.
And Spencer, such a physical weapon at 6'5". Played in the Dallas Cup. Missed the first 2 matches of the season for the 11. Got his first goal in a loss to Ottawa Fury FC here at Carroll Stadium 11 days ago. He is on loan from his club in Norway and played overseas as a professional at the age of 18 last year.
Ridiculous. At 18, I was still trying to figure out how to tie my shoes, put my gloves on.
Now Walker. Highland got in the way.
Got to move it quicker. Either take that shot or keep that ball moving.
Moore the target, but the loss was there to knock the ball to safety. 41st minute. We will have a little bit of stoppage time at the end of this half. Smith with options. He'll play it to Ambersley. Ambersley finds his way through, and Smith nearly had a hat trick in the first half. Mayers the volley. Can't keep it on frame. Blake Smith's having a good month, and we're in the 41st minute of the match.
This is one of those ones when you got a guy with a hot hand, hot foot, you just keep feeding him.
Take a look at the replay here.
You know, and great, attacking and countering into the space. Ambersley sets up that first defender and slots a ball through. Yeah, that's on his strong foot, too. If he didn't already have 2, that one might haunt him.
Now Highland makes the run. Plays it across. Smith is there for the Dutch Lions.
And Dayton may want to think of a positional change or a little bit of shift because Indy's having no problem getting around him on the outsides.
Flag is up. Smart was a stride in front of the defender and Smith. But if you're an Indy 11 fan, that's what you want to see. If that flag keeps going up, it means you're being aggressive. You're on the attack.
Yeah, and, the one, you don't know if it's the heat. You don't know if it's the fact that there's a 2-goal lead. But, Spencer and Ambersley have not been pressing with the same level of connectedness and the same energy that they did in the first 20 minutes. Could be a result of the humidity and the heat. Could be a result of the fact that they're up 2. But you'd like to see them continuing to do what got them to this place.
Norales to Smith. Smith able to keep it in play. The bobble, someone allowed Spencer to stay on side. One flick, back of the net, Mike Ambersley. We were worried about rain in Indianapolis. It's raining goals for the Indy 11. 3-0 advantage for the home side.
Yeah. Absolutely brilliant play by Ben Spencer, having the presence of mind not to try to get a flick on that, not to try to get a shot on that, but to let that just run past him, occupy the defender with his run, and then leave that ball for an open Ambersley on the backside. Look at the space that Indy has on the outsides. Brilliant. And great presence of mind from Mike to be ready. I mean, that ball's on. Ben Spencer's like a total eclipse. He's taken up so much of that space that Ambersley doesn't have a good view of that ball. So he's got like 10 feet to react to it.
It was a young guy in Spencer at 19 with the veteran move that allowed the veteran at Ambersley to score.
It's crazy.
Ambersley played his collegiate soccer nearby at Indiana University. Is in top 5 in this NASL 2.0 history in terms of both goals and assists. 3 goals in NASL competition for the 11 entering tonight's match.
Huge goal. Huge goal. It becomes a little bit tougher now at halftime, for Sid to get into that locker room and convince his guys that they can come back from a 3-goal deficit. You're down 2. You can still do a little bit of razzle-dazzle, a little bit of fire and brimstone stuff. And
flags up. Would not have counted anyway as Spencer. He seemingly has had a hand in all 3 goals, has yet to get his, was looking for that opportunity right there.
Yeah, but the great thing is if he wanted his, he had the opportunity to try to get his. He is as unselfish of a 19-year-old as I've ever seen. If Ben Spencer's a stock, I'm going all in. I'm selling my car. I'm selling your car. I'm going all in. I'm buying that stock.
I did not give you the papers to that car, by the way, just so you know.
Yeah.
Smith will play it forward to Ambersley. But I agree with his sentiment, my friend.
Enough that you'll turn the papers over?
Not so much. The 11 looking for more here before halftime. The 3 goals, the most they have scored in competition this year. They have put up this type of numbers in exhibition matches. They put up 3 in a match against Indiana University on April the 4th. The most they had scored in a match this year had been 2. And they've been consistent about getting goals on the board, but not this level of output in the opening 45 minutes.
And for Indy, this has got to be a welcome sight because there have been some erratic play, some inconsistent play, and the second half that they played against the Cosmos was as dynamic a half of soccer as they've played all season. And so for them to be able to roll that into the first half here, hopefully that rolls into the second half, and then they can take that into San Antonio on Saturday.
1 minute of stoppage time being added on to our clock here at halftime, or before we get to halftime, I should say. Miscue there. Okioma wasn't ready for that one. Quickly gets back and gets in the way of Schoenfeld's opportunity. Let's talk about halftime speeches. If you're Sid Van Grunen, what are you talking about with your side down by 3?
Forget the score. It's a 0-0 ball game. Play your game. When you started possessing the ball and knocking it around, you were dangerous and created opportunities. If your head goes down, if you try to get 3 goals all at one time, it's never going to happen.
On the flip side, if you're Jurgen Sommer, what's your focus with your team at the half?
Don't change. Just keep attacking, keep attacking, keep attacking. Winning, scoring goals is contagious. Winning is contagious. Championships are contagious. You want to win this tournament. You want to score goals. You want to win this game.
A standing ovation for a lot of the folks here at Carroll Stadium. They have been supporting this Indy 11 squad to the tune of 10,000 strong every game so far this year. They have yet to see a win. They might be 45 minutes away from their first. 3 goals in the opening half, 2 by Blake Smith. The last one going to Mike Ambersley. 3-0 the advantage at halftime. And you see the first from Blake Smith. We might see them all here in short order. Spencer to Smith. And Smith doing his magic here, taking the right-footed shot to make it 2-0. And one more for good measure before the end of the half. So in their debut appearance in the U.S. Open Cup, it is more than memorable so far for the Indy 11. Our score at halftime, Indy 11-3, Dayton Dutch Lions 0. You're watching match of the round coverage of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup here on USSoccer.com. Both teams back on the pitch for half number 2. Greg Rakestraw, Brad Hodder with you on USSoccer.com. It is our game of the round for round number 3. One of 16 matches taking place tonight. Winners of all these matches will get an MLS opponent for round number 4, which will take place in June. Fans, this broadcast of the match is authorized by U.S. Soccer. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of any image, sound, account, or description without the expressed written permission of U.S. Soccer is strictly prohibited. Brickyard Battalion kind of in repose at this moment. And yes, they're on the big screen here as well, here at Carroll Stadium.
They got to get ready. The action's coming their way now.
See downtown Indianapolis in the backdrop. Take a quick look at the stats from the first half of play. We talked about the aggression Indy 11 was showing. 5 offsides. The flag never went up for the Dayton Dutch Lions in the first 45 minutes.
Yeah, that shows the mindset of the Indy forwards and that high back line from Dayton. And, you wonder if Indy times half of those a little bit better, what that score would have looked like.
Both teams are on the pitch. It's our officials that, in theory, are a little bit late. However, the halftime clock still shows a couple of minutes before we get back to action, so the teams are certainly ready to roll. This is a rare problem to have the teams ready before the officials are. It's the other way around. Sometimes the teams can be a bit deliberate making their way out of the locker room at halftime.
Now you could see Indy being excited to get back out here. They've now put together 90 straight minutes of good soccer.
Take a quick look at what happened in the first half of play. Again, in the early going, Brad, really the pitch was kind of tilted in favor of the Dayton Dutch Lions.
Yeah, and on this play in particular here, I thought if he pulls that trigger a little bit quickly, instead of trying to tee it up, he had a bigger window on both sides of Christian and no defender obstructing things.
Easily the best opportunity here was Garner to Schoenfeld. Again, he scored 5 times this year. That's normally a ball he knocks home.
And forwards, goalkeepers, they don't want excuses. They don't need excuses. You got turf. You got perfect bounces. There is no excuse for that. You got to put that one away. That's a game changer.
The lefty chip by Blake Smith was the first goal of the night, coming in the 26th minute. And that's the thing about this Indy 11 surge. They all came late in that half, Brad.
Yeah. And that first one, they just didn't close it down enough. This is one the defenders just got to keep Blake on the outside. You can't let him cut across the middle. It exposes the back post to the goalkeeper.
So Smith with a goal with the left foot, a goal with the right foot, and an assist here for Mike Ambersley, who's been on the good foot all season long.
Yeah, well, that's an assist with his left foot, so he owes us an assist with the right.
Well, the ball is at his feet as we speak. Was looking for Ambersley. Spencer gives chase. See a couple of substitutions for the Dayton Dutch Lions. We'll get to them in a matter of moments. Don Smart will play this one in. And deflected away momentarily. One substitution for the 11. First, Dylan Mayer's left-footed shot scores. The floodgates remain open for Indy 11. It is a four-goal outburst for the NASL side.
Well, you couldn't be happier if you're Indy right now that 51 seconds into the second half, you keep up that momentum.
And Dylan Mayers, it is his first goal in game competition this year.
And this is a rough shooter's angle here.
For goal number 4 in 46 minutes of action. Frankly, we expected a more competitive match than this.
Yeah.
We mentioned a couple of substitutions for Dayton, one for Indy. Guilherme Felix is into the contest, wearing number 20 for the Dutch Lions. He is playing forward, as is the young man that's about to touch the ball here. Corrado keeps it away and then shields the offensive player. Joshua Angoy Cruyff is the substitution, or Cruyff, I should say.
Yeah.
And that last name should sound familiar to you.
So should the number. That was Johan's number.
He is the grandson of Johan Cruyff, the gold ball winner from FIFA 3 times in the 70s, who briefly did play in the North American Soccer League later in his career in this country. This is the 7th time that his grandson has entered a match this year for the Dayton Dutch Lions, and he has been a substitute in all of those matches.
Great ball.
Nearly goal number 5 for the 11. So Cruyff is in. Felix into the mix. And really, you've got 4 or 5 players kind of playing an attacking role now for Dayton, knowing they have a serious game of catch-up that they need to work on here in the final 45 minutes.
Yeah, and while you hate to see, scores 6-7-0, you got nothing to lose. You're 4-0 down right now. Throw guys forward. Try and take some chances. Try and get one. Start with one. See if that next one can come.
All at Spencer's feet. Next kind of hesitation to play. We'll mention the sub that's onto the pitch for the Indy 11. Highland on the charge keeps the attack alive here for the 11. Good work by Felix.
Yeah, forced that one. That was a little bit tough to reach that space. I don't know that Eli was completely open. And he was a little bit off balance when he hit it. That may take another preparation touch, and maybe you can slide the defenders over this way a little bit more and open it up a bit more before you drive that ball.
Pair of hard challenges by Kyle Highland. New player just touched the ball here for the 11. Baba Homo Shegman, young man that is from this area, played his collegiate soccer at Harvard.
Did you hear what his degree or degrees was? I can't even pronounce what it was that he got a degree in. I was at his signing ceremony, and holy smokes, it's an impressive guy.
He replaces Eric Norales, and that is a rare moment for the 11. Norales from Honduras has a reputation as the Iron Man, an every match, every minute type of guy. But for Norales, with a 3-goal lead when he left and now a 4-goal advantage, and knowing that the 11 have a match here in NASL action on Saturday.
Yeah, it'd be different if he's a possession, crafty player, stays away from contact. But he's a hammer. He's getting in there. He's a warrior. He's mixing it up. So even though he's an Iron Man, he plays almost every minute of every game of every team he's been on his career. You're always just one roll of the dice away from having the way he plays, having a tough injury. And then especially with that game Saturday being a league game, why risk it?
Kudzidze is off the pitch for the Dayton Dutch Lions, which are their second substitution out here in a matter of moments. So in this match now, you're going to see for both sides maybe a chance to work on some lineups going forward as these two teams return to league play this weekend. Flag goes up. Ambersley was just a step offside.
Yeah, and things look a bit in that last possession like it's breaking down a bit for Dayton. They were pushing 4 to 5 up, keeping 4 to 5 back, and really now you've got two lines. You've got an attacking line and a defending line, so it's going to get you caught in transition.
By the way, Clemens, the other player that stepped off the pitch for the Dutch Lions. So they have one sub remaining, the 11 with 2 at their discretion. A little too optimistic on that pass that time by Smith. If you're Sid Van Gruden, what do you want to see from your team here in the final 40 minutes of this match?
I'd love to see them get back to playing the way that they opened the game up. Forget the score. Play your game, play your style, possess the ball, knock it around. Because for them, they have to start preparing for this weekend's game as well. And you don't want to get into this where it's just knocking it forward and then you got 5 guys up front and they're not going to track back and they're going to leave the 5 guys in the back to handle the transition counter. That's not going to prepare you for what you need to do on Sunday.
Felix with the left-footed strike. Spun out of the hands momentarily of Christian Neekt. How much more spin as a goalie do you see playing a match on turf the way we do here in Indianapolis?
For a guy that plays on it or for a guy that comes from grass?
Either or.
Well, I don't think the turf is different too much, especially with this long field turf. If it gets wet, that thing picks up a little bit of a wicked spin and has a skip to it. And you never know, like in a humid night like tonight when it cools off, does that dew start, it doesn't have to be rain, does that dew start making it skip? But sometimes coming from grass, it feels like that when it hits the turf, it has a little bit of a backspin and gets a little funny movement to it after it hits and skips. So you really want to get your body behind it until you start to be able to read the turf.
In the 11's first ever game in the U.S. Open Cup, could not be going any better. A 4-goal advantage here in the 53rd minute. And a whistle for a foul called behind the play. Well, Moshigban draws the foul. The last time a team from Indiana played in the U.S. Open Cup was 9 years ago. You ever heard of Reggae Boys FC?
I have, yeah.
Well, good. I have no idea who they are, so enlighten me, Brad. Who are the Reggae Boys?
I'm sure it's got some Jamaican element to it. And
you think?
I'm sure Don Smart probably has a connection with them.
That ball deflected, and flag was up regardless, so not exactly a threat there. Cruyff will get the quick restart.
I don't know if they're still around.
They qualified through the Adult Soccer Association in 2005. Before that, the last Indiana-based team to play in this tournament was Indianapolis Inferno SC back in 1992, and they made it all the way to the semifinals. Now, again, you almost have to say there was one history of this event before 1996, and then another one with the origin of Major League Soccer in 1996.
Yeah, I think that changed the dynamic, is that, a lot of the best American players now have a place to stay here and play, whereas, back in that time, they're looking at opportunities overseas and or going into corporate America instead of following their dreams and passion. And plus, the MLS has brought, a ridiculous amount of talented foreign players here as well. So the tournament has certainly become more competitive.
The joy of it is underdog stories. Tonight has not been the night for the underdog. The team from what is thought to be Tier 2 of the American soccer pyramid has been handing it to the team from Tier 3. Smart sends it across, but a little too much on that one, never a threat on goal. And so it appears the Indy 11 have a date with the Columbus Crew. And the date for that match has already been set. There's about an 8-day window to play these next rounds in the tournament. And for the Indy 11, it comes after what would be a 10-day break in their schedule. The North American Soccer League will take a break for the World Cup. So the end of the spring season for the NASL teams is June 7th. That next match would be June 17th. And as we said earlier, it'll be played at the University of Akron and not at Crew Stadium.
And one of the kind of intangible benefits of that is I think it allows Indy players to stay focused and committed and to train during that break period rather than, we got no game for a month, and so maybe you dial it down a little bit in training. I think it's going to allow Indy to keep their edge sharp. Will Corver's got this Dutch training system of touches. It's advanced players all over the world, and one of the moves he has is Cruyff. You're almost kind of hoping that his grandson whips out that Cruyff move here tonight.
Cruyff, more than just a known commodity from a last name. He has pretty good pedigree as well. He was a recent addition to this team at the beginning of the year. Spent his time training with the junior program at Barcelona. Hambersley whistled for the foul, going over the back of Harada. And Hambersley will take a little time here. We'll stop the restart here. But to finish the thought on Cruyff, also played for the reserves at Wigan for a couple of years.
Yep.
Training staff going to come out and take a look at Hambersley. Hambersley became a father for the first time the inaugural week of this season for Indy 11 and scored the first goal in franchise history. It ended up being a 1-1 draw against the Carolina Railhawks on April the 12th.
Yes, that's about 6 weeks ago. He may have stayed down. He just needed a little bit more rest from some sleepless nights. You got that coming up in your future as well again.
I do. I forgot when that was like 3 years ago. I'm not exactly looking forward to that coming up later this fall. Mike is from the St. Louis area. Played with the Tampa Bay Rowdies for 2.5 seasons and spent the end of last season with the current team atop the table in the NASL, that being Minnesota United. And Hambersley quickly back onto the pitch.
He was on one of those NASL teams that beat an MLS side in the Open Cup. I think it was Seattle, and then I think they lost to Portland after that. But he was in one of those epic upsets.
Chip into Spencer, and he did not get the touch he wanted to on it.
Yeah.
Goal kick coming.
He snuck in there behind it. Flag went up.
We referenced the Railhawks as to who Indy 11 played in their opening match this season back in early April. It was Carolina who had the best run of the NASL teams a season ago. Neek will come out and play that ball to safety.
Yeah,
Though not out of danger yet, Okiyama will now make it a little more breathing space for the 11 to operate.
Yeah, the way that ball was played in, he should have stayed in his box, let it come to him, and grabbed it. Probably just eager to get involved.
Railhawks last year had a win over the LA Galaxy in Cup competition. They made the quarters before losing to Real Salt Lake. Well, if you're the Dayton Dutch Lions, this is certainly a step up in competition from the USL Pro Division to the NASL. Still have 30 minutes plus of soccer left to play, but at this point, what do you take from this match if you're Dayton and try to apply when you return to league play?
Well, if I'm some of these individuals, or if I'm the coach and going to have a discussion with some of the individuals, they have an opportunity to show themselves to that next tier. And so body language and if a player starts to quit on a run or gets frustrated, that factors in. As he's trying to move up the ladder, that's going to factor into the next level's opinion. So, one, it's keeping your composure as a professional, carrying yourself as a professional. So one of the things I'd be in tune with as a coach is making sure I start reading these guys and seeing who's still got some energy, who's still got some fire, and which are the guys that are saying, well, I'm not going to chase that one down, I'm not going to press that, we don't have a chance in this one. I don't care what the score is, I want guys that are going to fight for 90 minutes.
Well, Felix fighting for possession here.
Hey, I like Walker, and he's created some opportunities, he's been dangerous. I'd love it if he would have pulled the trigger a couple times a little bit quicker, but...
First 10 minutes really belong to Dayton. Ever since that time, the activity's been all in favor of the Indy 11. It's our game of the round coverage, round 3 of the 101st Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup here on USsoccer.com. Now here's an opportunity. Garner. A little too much on that pass to Schoenfeld. He'll track it down. Chance for both sides to throw more numbers back inside the 18. Harada, who has extensive playing experience in Japan. I mentioned earlier, he's the veteran presence on the pitch for this squad.
Going back to the player we featured pre-game, Eli, I'd say I like his energy. I like the fight in him. I think he's been dangerous. So anytime there's a player going
Speaking
down,
of
he's
dangerous.
pretty close. Yeah, he seems to be in that general vicinity. And I haven't seen anything that I say, hey, that crosses a line. I think he's just a tough player, and he's a kid that involves himself in things, not afraid to back down from a 50-50 ball.
Another substitution is awaiting at the fourth official stand for the 11. We'll see their second sub in a moment. Mayers had it lined up. The loss was there to get in the way, and we'll see a corner for the first time in this half.
And I think in situations like that, when he's got the ball, and he's taken 2 touches to set up his shot, and that defense closes down on him, just keep the ball moving.
Mike Ambersley is going to see his night come to an end. Counting the goals in NASL play, it's his 4th goal in 8 matches this season. And I think the tumble to the turf told Jurgen Sommer that's enough for our experienced hand on the pitch. Wilson Ramirez began the season as a starter, has been a reserve the last couple of weeks, and he will enter here for the final 30 minutes of this match.
Yeah, he got the bone bruise in his foot at the same time that Smith came in on loan, and Smith hasn't done anything to give that position back.
Ramirez will come in and say, hey, I'll take that corner as my first touch of the match, and a quick restart played backwards more than forwards here for the 11.
Incredible. Incredible.
Spencer hasn't found the back of the net yet, but he's been in the neighborhood seemingly on every goal so far.
It's a sleeper stock for me. You're not going to see it rise and spike in day-to-day stuff, but you watch, it's just going to be a gradual climb. And then you're going to say, hey, I should have bought that too.
Ramirez was deflected. Another corner coming here for the 11. We mentioned some of the other games taking place tonight. Harrisburg City Islanders, we talked about them because that's the last win that Dayton has had outside of their cup match against Schwaben AC. They're playing in Baltimore tonight. Charlotte Eagles playing at the Carolina Railhawks.
Great ball.
Spencer looking to get on the end of that one. Stuver steps in front.
You wonder if this game is more competitive if...
Good hard charge by Garner. Neeked is down.
Yep.
And that'll be a penalty.
He earned it. That kid could have given up on that run 20 yards ago and said, I don't have a chance. He kept fighting for it. Kyle Highland has got speed.
He focused on Garner in the pregame show, and you can see why.
I like him. He's got a future. I'll tell you something right now that look at that. It's just a mishit ball, but Highland's got speed for him to close it down, win it, stay with it, and then have the composure in that moment to still try and take Christian on instead of hit it. That's impressive. Here's something right here. If this gets saved or it misses, it's the back. There's nothing. It's going to be an impossible mountain to climb. He scores it, there'll be a little bit of a heartbeat.
The 11 have not had a clean sheet yet this year. Dayton trying to keep that streak going. Schoenfeld will take it. The 11 have 3 penalties converted so far this year. Yellow card has been shown to Highland on the play.
There's one thing with, and you got to read it quick, but whichever arm goes up highest, that's the side he's going to. Oh!
Neeked guessed right, but couldn't corral it.
Oh.
And the Dayton Dutch Lions are on the board.
Uh-oh. Okay, that's frustration. You're wondering if he might have come down on that ball a little bit funny, but...
Again, you've played the position at the professional level. When you guess right and still let it in.
Frustrating. Because you guess wrong so many times. That when and it's a 12-yard, that ball's coming in fast, but when you guess right, it looks like a beach ball, and you feel like you're king of the world. And especially when you can get a hand to it, and it still sneaks underneath you. I know that frustration.
By the way, Dayton's about to sub their 3rd player in. Let's take another look at the opening tally of the night for the Dutch Lions.
Guessed right, had the dive right. It's one of those things, too, when goalkeepers shoot their hands to the ball, they get it. And sometimes when they have their hands go with the momentum of the dive, it just can't get down fast enough.
Would you like one? I'll bring you one. Water? I got water. No more for him. How about you?
So final substitution coming in here. It'll be Thurier that leaves. This will be Joseph Broekhuizen that will be entering here for the Dutch Lions. And this is a young man that you have coached against in the college ranks.
This kid's a player. This kid is a player. Funny story I was telling you, as our team was driving up he's 6'3", 6'4", 200 pounds. So he's warming up at the top of the box, just feeding balls to players. And my team starts razzing me as the bus pulls up to the field, say, hey, look, their coach is out there playing with them. Why don't you play with us? I'm like, that's not their coach. That's their leading scorer.
Played at Calvin College, Division III school in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Wearing number 23, he has a goal to his credit this year. So the bench, well, their night is done.
He is a gifted player. I tell you, after I did the scouting report and watched film on him, I decided not to show his game tape to my team. That'll just surprise them.
The 11 have one more sub at their discretion. We're seeing a burst of energy here from the Dutch Lions. Well, Moshikban steps in front of that one for the 11. Flag goes up. Don Smart was just a step or two offsides.
And the way that Dayton's playing right now is not sustainable. You're getting 5 guys up, 5 guys back, and you've got this gap that Indy can counter in through transition. So you're either going to have guys working hard, going back and forth, or you got to space yourself a little bit better.
Any bit of nerves right now if you're Indy 11 having given up that first goal?
No. It's different if it would have been in the run of play and it was this, but right now they scored a penalty kick.
And that'll be a handball whistled against Harada.
I'll tell you, the confidence that Indy can take is, up until this point, 6 of the last 7 of the last 8 goals have been either own goals, penalty kicks, or deflections. Nothing really created in the run of play. And tonight, all 4 have been created through the run of play. So that's got to give you some confidence going into the weekend's match.
Highland again gives chase, and again Garner is there, and it'll be a throw-in coming here.
Yeah, if I'm Dayton, I keep feeding him. He's not quit on a ball. He's not been outworked for a ball.
'70th minute of the match. A little bit of a grab that time by Highland, which is impressive considering he's playing with a cast on one hand.
Yeah. You really got to work to get a hold of somebody when your hand's casted.
Highland attended school here at IUPUI on the campus where Indy 11 plays their home matches, but this is not where he played his college soccer. This is a new development for IUPUI to play at this facility. They played just up the road at Coon Stadium, which was built for the Pan American Games back in 1987.
And this will definitely help them recruiting. You bring an 18-year-old into this stadium, maybe even on an Indy 11 game night, and say, hey, this is where you're going to be playing. Be hard-pressed to believe you're not going to impress that kid.
IUPUI made the conference tournament finals of their league, the Summit League, this year losing to Denver, a perennial collegiate soccer powerhouse. Throw-in coming here, and Corrado is not exactly in a big hurry with 20 minutes left to go and a 3-goal advantage. If you're Jurgen Sommer, Brad, what do you want to see from your team here in the final 20?
Bam!
That was what you wanted to see.
What a save.
Stuver gets the save as Spencer looking for that first goal of the night.
I'll tell you what you'd like to see. You want to see that ball keep moving. You want to stay away from any kind of contact. You don't want anybody getting hurt right now.
Good pass back that time by Brock Granger. And Stuver's given up 4, and he still made some great plays.
Yeah, love the fact he's still into it. He can get frustrated as defenders for not stopping that serve from getting across or not being marked up on that guy. Instead, he's playing it. Great save.
Great work by Corrado. Have not seen as much of Smith here in the second half as the impact he had in the first.
It was similar to the last game I saw him play too. He created that penalty kick early on, was all over the field in the first half. Wonder if it's a fitness thing or positionally. They've got him sitting in a little bit more now that Ramirez is playing on the outside.
Smith, one of the many players on the pitch tonight, flags up, that will likely pull double duty and play some 72 hours from now for the 11 against San Antonio. Let's take a look at Stuver's outstanding work at the other end.
Incredible. He's backpedaling too. Great position, great reflexes. Only thing he could have done better is maybe not play that ball into the middle. But that's nitpicking. That's a brilliant save.
Two names that likely will be on the pitch for the 11 on Saturday when they take on San Antonio when they return to league play. Brad Ring, who again is not playing in this match because of a yellow card accumulation in last year's Open Cup when he played for San Jose. And deflection off Spencer that Stuver will play to make sure it's not a corner kick. And then Cleberson, the Brazilian international. But this will be the third match if he does not play tonight that he would have missed consecutively due to a hamstring injury. But tonight is the first time that he's appeared on the 18 since injuring that hamstring a couple of weeks ago. He played last year with the Philadelphia Union of Major League Soccer. Throw in here for the 11.
Hey, you look at Brad Ring has been so steady this year for Indy that as much as he'd like to play in this game and as great of a performance as he had against New York over the weekend, it's almost one of those blessings. He's been so consistent and so good. Nothing's going to happen to him when he's not playing tonight.
He made the NASL's top 11 for the week. He had the equalizing goal for the 11 in their draw against the Cosmos on Saturday night, scoring in the 76th minute to earn the first away point in franchise history.
Great goal, too. Picked Senna around midfield, who is just a ridiculously talented midfield for the Cosmos. Picked him, brought it up to the corner of the box, hit a ball from about 30 out. Might have nicked somebody going underneath the keeper, but outstanding. And the celebration from Indy was just this weight went off their shoulders.
And this is shaping up as the first win in franchise history. Still looking for that first NASL victory. They have 2 more games. They wish to try to get that done before the fall season that begins in mid-July. Good looking ball here.
This is important to get this win before you head into to San Antonio. The confidence it's going to bring, that opening whistle, the energy that's going to be there. Again, Walker finds himself in a great spot and just needed to get rid of it just a little bit quicker.
Ramirez tried to play it back to Smart. Harada steps in front.
Yeah, he's got fresh legs. He should be able to either look off that ball or get it to him. Great touch.
And Ramirez will get another opportunity. Overshoots everybody. Both Spencer and over the crossbar.
Great ball, great touch by Smith to send him into the corner. Freed him up. You would have hoped a better ball would have come out of that. Yeah.
One more substitution available to Jurgen Sommer. Garner again the takeaway. As advertised, he has been where the action has been tonight.
Great look.
Broekhuizen leaves it for Walker. Walker makes the turn, and Walker scores.
I like him.
Suddenly it is a 2-goal game as the last 2 tallies have come for the side from the USL Pro Division. The Dayton Dutch Lions have sliced this lead in half. First goal for Walker this year. Only 4 players had scored goals on the season before that. Brilliant touch by Walker.
There's a great composure to play that ball back to him. It was a nice turn. I think he caught everybody off guard with the fact that he turned and hit that one right away. But, again, that comes off of the energy of Garner on the outside.
Really got to credit Dayton. At 4-0, a lot of teams would have mentally packed it in for the night, and that has not been the case.
I don't know if Christian's calling for a sub for himself or a sub for a defender, but he's yelling at the bench about something.
Smith makes the turn. Had 2 in the first half. Now Spencer with the chip. A little too strong that time.
As much as you'd love to get Ben Spencer another goal and maybe have him ride that confidence and energy into Saturday, he doesn't need it. He's playmate out. He could have had his goal if he wanted. He playmate out here. Now might be the time to say, hey, kid, sit down. It's not risking injury. Let's make sure you're available for us.
Cruyff looking to make the turn. And instead loses the ball across the end line for a goal kick.
Yeah, it's going to be one he wants back. You can't, in that point of the game, you've got to get something dangerous out of that.
And again, the 11 not exactly in a big hurry here. with a 2-goal lead. And Walker asking Dimitar Shavdarov, our referee for tonight, saying, hey, speed him up here. We're still fighting.
It's a frustrating thing when you're on the other end of it. But it's part of the culture of the game. You've earned the right to try and take some of the air out of it.
Smith plays it forward, and Spencer didn't have time to give chase. Smith asking for a foul that was not called.
The tough part about it is, there's an accountability to it. If you don't want to be in this situation where a team can kill the clock and draw out restarts, then you got to make sure you're not down at this point in the game.
Now Ramirez. Ball finds Spencer. Left-footed turn.
Impressive.
Some of the Dayton players were asking for a handball. Our referee says nope. Was not played intentionally. Hands to the side. And a corner coming here for the 11.
Impressive.
Diving effort. That'll be another corner kick. More look at Stuver's effort here.
Kid's earning his money. It's a good serve. Well defended.
Stuver will give chase, but that too will go for a corner kick. And every corner kick's an opportunity to take about another 30 seconds off the clock here if you're Indy 11.
Yeah. But, it's a dangerous point right now because it's basically a 2-0 game. And if Dayton is able to sneak one in here in the next 5 minutes, the energy that they'll be able to come with, and the game will be there for them.
They did bring a handful of fans over. It is less than a 2-hour drive to get from Dayton to Indianapolis.
Got some orange sprinkling the stands.
Stuver is there. Corrado steps in front. And Smith will play it out to the side, and ball will land above our broadcast position. Smith, flag is down, but the keeper is there. It's hard to say that a guy giving up 4 goals is at a pretty good match, but Stuver's been impressive.
It's a great read right there. Smith's got pace. He's coming in. He's got 2 goals, so he's got confidence too. And he's off his line. He's anticipating something like that. And then instead of going back and hoping, he comes out and he attacks the ball.
The second half has been played to Dayton's advantage. In terms of goals, it's 2-1. With a 3-0 deficit that quickly became 4 in the first minute of the half. And Spencer lines it up, and Smith able to get in the way. Now a chance for a counter, and
no need.
That's a hard-earned card by Moore.
That professional foul, good foul. If there's not 4 guys back, but you got 4 defenders, you're fine.
And the third and final sub awaits for Indy 11. And that is going to be Pedro Mendez, who will enter this match. And much as Brad suggested a few moments ago, Ben Spencer's night will come to an end.
As dangerous as he is, as electric as he is, as dynamic as he is, you have to have him on Saturday.
So Mendez can play an attacking role. And Spencer, as we have documented tonight, tends to play wise beyond his years at 19, slowly making his way to the sidelines. Let some more time tick off of the clock. And so Pedro Mendez will enter.
I like this move. Between Smart and Mendez, you've got a couple of wild cards out there, and that becomes very difficult for defenders to read because they're not always going to be doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Broekhuizen had the touch, but is ruled to have touched an Indy 11 player last.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but I think it would have been a goal kick, but the way AJ took off after it, he alerted the center official and the linesman that, hey, I might have got a piece of that one.
So a corner here, and there's some rather sizable targets out there for the Dutch Lions. Neek able to punch the ball away. And that'll be a throw in here for the 11. That is one thing that is certainly impressive about this Dayton squad. You look out there in Felix and Broekhuizen and Schoenfeld.
Mm-hmm.
That is size you don't often see at this level.
Especially in those positions. Those are attacking pieces for him. Expect those big bodies to be in the back, defending the box, winning balls in the air.
And that's kind of a reciprocal grab. Then an extra shove that gets tossed away.
I'd card them both after that.
Joel DeLoss will get the first yellow. Now the question is, will Smith get the second?
Now that, you talk professional fouls, I think that is one. I'll take the card there because, Smith is in on goal, and somebody's got to drop out of the middle to go press that ball.
An easy call to make right there.
Yeah, so you got the foul and you got the card. There's no reason to push him. You got 2 goals. You're up by 2. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Was Smith not given one, or he might be here shortly? He's just getting a talking to at this point in time. And that's all. And if this result does not change, the card accumulation doesn't matter for the Dutch Lions. It tends to for the 11 going to the next round.
Good Lord, Garner's everywhere.
Okioma looking for Mayers. Mayers able to keep it in play. Ball punched away and to a good spot for the Dutch Lions. Only Smart giving chase. And Highland finds Ramirez. Good job to keep the play active by the 11. Don't just give away the throw in. Is it more about possession right now for Indy Brown, or does it need to be about still attacking?
It's possession. You're killing the clock. Right now they're not showing. Dayton's not showing the energy and the desire to chase down.
Stuver with the block.
Oh. But yeah, the best way to defend is to possess the ball. And Indy's not going to give up a goal if they keep it. Sounds so simple. But there's so much space right now that Indy's got the ability to do that.
Take a look at Don Smart's attempt on goal.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of these tonight. It's just a lack of focus in a critical part.
Smart had a goal for the 11 in an exhibition match earlier in the spring, yet to score in NASL competition. Cruyff plays it ahead. Garner.
Big save.
Neek had to make the save when.
Ball game right there. Ball game.
Well, Mashikban couldn't clear it away.
That's the ball game. That goes in, and you're going to see a furious 5 minutes here.
11 aren't out of danger yet. This is the loss. Was not deflected. Let's take a look at the latest goal-scoring opportunity for the Dutch Lions. And it was Garner again. Where the ball is, he is.
Incredible, because you're making that run in behind Baba, and you're expecting him to get a piece of that ball, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's on you. To get a piece of it and actually be dangerous with it, it's impressive. I might be taking some of my investment and putting it in Eli. It's important to diversify your portfolio. You don't want to put it all in one guy.
Again, the ball finds him on the boot away, that time by Neekt.
There you go.
Both teams have used their full complement of subs. Flag stays down. Smith wants 3. He'll get it and put this game away in favor of the Indy 11. And he stole a page from Ozzie Smith on the celebration. You get 3, you can do as many backflips as you want.
No, you can't. I think there's a shelf life to how many you can do. Unreal.
He gets goals 1 and 2. He gets goal number 5.
Assist on goal 3. He earned the penalty kick in the game against Ottawa. It's a great ball by Don.
Stuver had nowhere to go.
And you got to watch the form here. Oh.
Rick Battalion has even more to celebrate. And so this one that was starting to get a little nervy for the 11 now turns into a nice celebration. Broekhuizen will pick up the foul. One more look here, and
great composure. He didn't hit the crossbar on that one. He would have had 4 right now.
Take a look at the form, kids.
Okay,
just like 3 shots tonight. Nailed that one, too.
Yeah.
Stuck the landing completely. So the 11 will move on to face the Columbus Crew. They played several MLS teams in preseason training, but obviously in cup competition, this is a completely different story. That match will be June 17th at the University of Akron. Corrado took a tough shot that time. He's down. Play continues because it's inside of the 18. Neek will use the left foot to clear that one to safety. And Dayton will be in action on Sunday.
Oh, great move.
Cruyff plays it across.
I wonder if he feels any sense of obligation to throw that Cruyff move out there at times. It's a tough move.
Smith for Mendez.
Great ball.
Kind of a solo act here for Mendez. Nobody else going forward with him. 3 minutes of stoppage time, by the way, will be played in tonight's match. And a throw in coming here in the corner, and could be time for a bit of time wasting here by the 11. First, we've got a player down, and again, given the humidity tonight, this is not exactly a mid-July or August type of humidity here in Indianapolis, but it's the first dose of it we've had this year over the last 2 or 3 days, so it's going to take a little while for guys to get acclimated to it. Especially a guy like Matt Walker, I think, has given an absolutely outstanding effort for his team tonight.
Unreal. He's fought for 90 minutes now.
Walker and Garner have been more than impressive, and Schoenfeld has been as advertised for the Dutch Lions.
Yeah, you look, you take back a couple of those opportunities early in the game. This is a very, very different feel at the 90th minute. Yeah, this is one of the things that would frustrate me as a coach is just playing with the ball and putting yourself in situations where a guy can just come in and crack the ball and maybe get a piece of you and cost you maybe Saturday. Just keep the ball moving. Keep it out of any kind of conflict.
Three different players scored tonight for the 11. Smith with 3, Ambersley with 1, and Dylan Mayers gets the other. Schoenfeld and Walker with the goals for
great ball.
The Dutch Lions. They may not be done scoring yet. Okiyama, good work.
Yeah, he kicked it into another gear there. I'd say it's good to see Mayers get a goal. He's been buzzing around, and he's had some really critical opportunities that have just missed. So it was good to see him get that one.
I want to thank our great crew from USsoccer.com that makes this broadcast possible tonight. And we'll announce who the match of the round will be in early June for round number 4. Again, the window of those matches will be between June 10th and June 18th. The Indy 11 Columbus Crew match will be on June 17th. Corrado gets a touch. Now Walker. Great hustle by Garner to keep it in play, but nobody close by. Waning moments of this match tonight.
There we go.
And in fact,
First
it's
win.
over. And the Indy 11 pick up their first victory in rather dominant fashion. The final score this evening, Indy 11-5, and the Dayton Dutch Lions 2. So Indy 11 returns to action on Saturday against San Antonio. The Dutch Lions return to USL Pro play on Sunday. Brad, your final thoughts on this one?
Love the fact that there's 5 goals. Love the fact that it's a victory. I think all of that stuff rolls into confidence for Saturday against San Antonio, which is a critical league game. Not real thrilled with the 2 goals. I think Eli beat Highland to the ball there, and wound up winding up into a penalty kick when Christian had to bring Gardner down in the box. And then it's good goals, but no reason to give up 2. You've shown that you can dominate this team. That there's still a lot of concern with how easy it is to score 2 on Indy.
Once again, on behalf of our great crew from U.S. Soccer, as well as Brad Hodder, this is Greg Rakestraw. Thank you for joining us. Good night from Carroll Stadium on the campus of IUPUI in downtown Indianapolis. Our final score this evening, Indy 11-5 and the Dayton Dutch Lions 2. Thank you for watching the game of the round for round 3, 101st Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup here on USSoccer.com.